we go. We are underway. Matty Garlett and Francisco de Silva. Garlett in the black and the white. In the black and the gold, Francisco de Silva, Andy Raymond, Nathan DiCarlo, Brett Benetti ringside calling the action here. It has been quite some time since we've seen Matty Garlett in centre ring. We're going all the way back to July 2014.
Yeah, it still
looks all right, doesn't he?
He does. He used to be a little bit lighter, obviously, back in the day. He started in the featherweight division. He looks a little bit heavier right now. But, yeah, first fight back since July 2014, like you said, and he's looking to, start a new chapter in his book.
I don't know why they do it, the boxers. They love the comebacks. It's about motivation, it's about determination. They have all got amazing resilience. He was quite the act back in the day, Brett, wasn't he?
Certainly was, and I think that the house that Danny Green built has got something to do with him being in the ring tonight, because he had 6 fights here at HBF Stadium. He was known in Challenge Stadium back in. He was actually on the card in 2012 when Danny Green defeated Danny Santiago that night, and obviously Matt Garlett had a win that night as well.
Yeah, debuted in this venue back in 09, so he'll be really at home here at, yes, what is the old Challenger Stadium, now HBF, and walks across the ring, snapping out the jab a couple of times.
Yeah, Matty Garlett, fought for a 12-round regional title. Now, all of a sudden, he's way back down to 4-rounders. It's almost like he's starting again. Very experienced amateur. He's been around the block so many times, Andy, so he knows what to do in there. He's just got to get his eye back in. Obviously, shots off, and yeah, De Silva is looking like a tricky customer, keeping his guard really high at this stage, but I think that'll drop as the fight progresses.
Slightly bigger of the two athletes, De Silva. Garlett, he's not going to be as smooth, as slick as he was, certainly not after all these years, but there was a time where Matty Garlett, oh wow, to watch him was just beautiful. And you can already see glimpses of the athlete inside Matty Garlett, despite what his birth certificate may say.
Yeah, I think it must be noted too that De Silva hasn't had a fight since 2018 as well, so both boys really coming off the grass for this one. So they're evenly matched, that's for sure.
De Silva had 3 fights in 2017 and won all those 3 fights as well. And then, as you said, Nathan had a fight in 2018 and had a break ever since.
It'll feel like a 12-rounder for these two lads.
And,
wow.
And straight away, he starts much better this second round. The snappiness of that jab, followed up by that right hand, just missing the mark, the right hand. If he found a home for that, I'll tell you what, De Silva would have felt it.
Vince Pergolotti, very experienced referee here in Western Australia.
And in they go. Early stages of round number 2. Garlett, really the aggressor here. He's initiating the fight, depending on what you are looking for. Back
in the day, Andy, he was known as a really slick boxer. Even in the amateur days, he was really good. And I think when he starts with his jab, that's when he looks the best. When sometimes he's leading with that right hand, but keeping himself exposed. Obviously, putting his chin up in the air when he leads with that right hand. If he can get back on the jab and start everything off that jab, I think he's going to really put himself in the forefront for this win.
Good look. Yeah, really using that jab nicely.
Garlett seems to have that speed advantage at the moment, and the power advantage probably to De Silva.
I say it respectfully, but it's probably actually a bit surprising that Matty's got the speed advantage. Natural athlete, I get all that, but it's been 10 years since he gloved up professionally.
This fight is so important to him as well. You mentioned before, Andy, about the Stephen Michael Cup. I mean, Stephen Michael is a legend, Australian rules footballer in not just WA, in Australia as well. Hall of Famer in the AFL, and this trophy means a lot to both fighters.
Back into that centre ring position, snapping out the left hand to Silva.
And this is where both boys have to work. It's only a 4-round contest, Andy. You obviously have to stake your claim very quickly, because you let a round slip by, all of a sudden you're behind the 8 ball to get a decision. So both boys should really take advantage of every opportunity they've got throughout this whole 3-minute duration, that's for sure.
Final 30 seconds of round number 2. As I said, we're scheduled for just 4 3-minute rounds. You could see the pace of this bout drop off the edge of a cliff by halfway through round number 4, if indeed we do go that far. Nice introductory fight back into it for Matty Garlett. World title boxing, proudly supported by the West Australian State Government through Tourism Western Australia. They have been just fabulous. He is all ears inside the corner, a very calm corner too. We've spoken so many times about how important it is, that 60-second rest between trainer and athlete. Doesn't need to be hurried, doesn't need to be rushed, doesn't need to be panicked or frantic.
And it doesn't have to be information overload. Obviously, when you know, boys are fatigued and women are fatigued in the corner, the last thing they can do is absorb too much information. So 1 or 2 instructions, and that's all they need.
Well, that's about all us blokes can take, if we're being super honest. Big supporter base over here, Matty Garlett, doesn't he, Brett? Like, because he's that type of guy. He's a guy really easy to like.
Certainly is, and he's been around for so long. And as soon as the fight got announced, the boxing fans over here knew exactly who he was and what he'd done. So it's great to see him back in at HBF Stadium tonight. Good moment for Garlett.
Yeah, it was, and he's continuing to set up nicely with the jab.
The question for both these guys is whether ring rust was a thing. It is a thing for some fighters, but some fighters can come back after a long layoff and just put it on.
Certainly their timing's a little bit off. I mean, obviously, I've seen a lot more of Garlett than De Silva, but I mean, he just used to be so sharp and so snappy, and used to just rock the head back of his opponent continuously. But obviously, you know, with age and obviously that layoff, he hasn't got quite the sharp skills he used to, but that's expected, I guess, with all that time off.
Pumping out the left hand to Silva. As he has done a couple of times to Silva, he might be throwing the left hand out, but he's not following it up with anything, and he's almost just standing there in the pocket.
Exactly, and he's going back in straight lines, Andy, so that's allowing Garlett to march forward. So when he's going backwards, he needs to come off on angles and obviously, you know, create that bit of movement, so Garlett almost falls over himself. At the moment, he's just going back in a straight line, and Garlett can just keep on going down and keep on throwing his punches down the pipe.
Final minute, round number 3. Francisco De Silva and Matty Garlett contesting for the Stephen Michael Cup, as Brett explained earlier. Pushing out the left hand again, Garlett. De Silva just hasn't initiated enough for mine.
And he's being very reactive at the moment, but he's just getting beaten to the punch at this stage by Matty Garlett. The jab's coming out well for Garlett, but right now he's overreaching with his right hand. Every time he throws his right hand, it's almost like he's overreaching. So he's not bringing his feet with his punches. And, you know, once again, might be a little bit more critical, but, I mean, that time off would have played a massive factor. But we can...
This is it, the 4th and final round in our first televised bout. Matty Garlett and Francisco De Silva. We are live around Australia on 7+. It is De Silva in the black and the gold, And Matty Garlett in the black and the white. Garlett, for mine, comfortably ahead on the judges' scorecards after 3 rounds. The longer you've been in boxing, the more you see, I guess, and you can never be 100% certain exactly what the judges are thinking. But for mine, Garlett, too slick, volume of punches as well, and deserves to be ahead on the judges' scorecard.
Certainly, he's just outworking him. Obviously, he's punching, 3 to his 1. So yeah, he's a deserving to be in front, that's for sure.
He's worked on a lot in this fight, is just trying to establish that jab, and I think that's been the key. And he started off each round a lot better than De Silva. So whether De Silva sways a couple of the judges at the later stages of the round, you never know. But yeah, I totally agree with your assessment. I think that Garlett is ahead on the card so far. But again, he's got under a couple of minutes to see whether De Silva can turn it around, at least on our cards.
Yeah. Unfortunately, our opinions don't particularly matter. It's the 3 scoring judges at ringside. This is like being at home for me, boys. My opinion doesn't count.
We've seen strange things in the world of boxing, haven't we?
Haven't we?
And that was good, a good variation. That was probably the first time both boys have gone to the body there. You saw Matty Garlett start with a jab, and then he came down to the body with a straight right hand and scored. Obviously, these smaller round fights, you don't invest in the body too much because they don't really catch up with you. They're more head hunting with these shorter round fights.
Nice left there by Garlett.
We'll mention this early, and we'll mention this while there's a couple of smaller athletes in the ring, where it's super lightweight at the moment. We've got the biggest legal size ring you can have in boxing. It is a monster ring, so quite often you see it provides room for a boxer to get out of the way and not to engage. But these two older statesmen and little fellas, it's been a good pace. It really has, considering the size of the ring, and they've got so much room and so much area to hide.
Certainly, and they, part of it's because, Matty Garlett knows how to cut off a ring as well. You can see sometimes he's tracking down and, putting his opponent in the corners, and that helps as well. Just by, a slight shuffle of his back foot, bringing it up, squaring himself off, making it hard for his opponent to escape left or right.
Final stages.
Yep, last couple of seconds of this one, Matty Garlett. Welcome back to professional boxing. It has been over 10 years, and he deserved that smile on the face. What an adrenaline rush, an emotional rush it would be for Matty Garlett at the moment. He was a semi-main eventer here under Danny Green on a couple of occasions. Very popular young fella.
Unanimous decision. And the winner of the Stephen Michael Cup, and it goes to the blue corner, Matt Garlett.